was a monk who lived in a monastery, and he was an abbot. He was a worshiper. And so there came a situation in which one of the people wanted to leave their sister in the care of the monk in order for there to be someone to look after her while they were gone. So the monk was reluctant to do it, because he didn't feel that it was necessarily right for him to be looking after a woman who was not his mahram. However, he ultimately agreed to do it. And so he was going to stay in his monastery, and she was going to stay in her house. He would bring her food and see if there was any other need that she would need, but it would all be from outside of the door. And so what happened was that this went on for some time, but then the Shaytan started to whisper to him, how can you just leave her to be on her own? And so after some time of the Shaytan whispering to him about this, eventually he decided, you know what, maybe I'll just speak to her outside of the door. And so this went on for some time. And then eventually the Shaytan came back and started to whisper to him again, you should actually interact with her so that she can actually see someone. And so he went about whispering to him. And so he decided that he was just going to be in the home and that she would just be in another room, if I'm remembering the story fully correctly. And so this went on for some time. And then eventually the Shaytan started to whisper to him again that he should actually be physically in her presence. And eventually what this led to was that it led to them being physically intimate with one another. And from this situation, the woman actually became pregnant. And so the Shaytan came and whispered to him again. And the Shaytan has said, what are you going to do? What are the people going to say? You got this young girl pregnant and they know that this is not your wife. And when her brothers come back, what are they going to think? And so the Shaytan had said to him, the only thing that you can do to try to get out of the situation is that you have to kill her. So he ended up killing her and then burying her in a unmarked grave. So when the brothers returned and they were asking about their sister, he had mentioned to them, some false words in order to cover up the situation. But then, if I remember the story correctly, a crow or bird had uncovered the unmarked grave that he had dug. And so the brothers were able to see that she was ultimately killed. And so they grabbed the monk to bring him to justice. And so while they were carrying the monk off, the Shaytan came to the monk one last time. And so the Shaytan has said to the monk, look, I can help you, but the only way that I'll be willing to help you is if you associate me as a partner with God, meaning that you commit shirk with me right now. And if you do that, I'll help you and I'll get you out of the situation. And because of the desperate situation the monk found himself in, he agreed to commit shirk. And as soon as he did that, the Shaytan left him and then he went and was executed. So he died in a state of shirk. So the whole basis of the story is that the Shaytan is not necessarily always going to try to get you to do something major. But what he'll do is that he'll try to build you up, going little by little until you come to a point of no return.